Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for downloading the pack. Let's jump into it so you can figure out how they work. Super simple. A lot of it is really just drag and drop. Let's start with installing it. So the way that you install the pack is once you open up Premiere, you're going to go to the effects panel. You're going to click the hamburger menu, which are the three little lines, and then you're going to click import presets. You're going to find the extracted file from the zip folder that you downloaded, and it'll just say Birge Media Transition Pack. You're going to click open. It'll import those presets into your presets folder, and you'll see that it's labeled birge.media. And then in that folder, you'll see all the transitions, right? So now just a simple example of one or two of these transitions that you'll be able to use are, the action zoom, which is just a nice little zoom into your clip with some motion blur, action spin, which is pretty much the same thing as a zoom, just with some rotation added to it. Make it a little fun. And then after that, we have a little bit more of an interesting transition, which is a key away, which looks like this, right? And so that really is just selecting a color, and then the transition or selecting a color, and then throughout a period of time, the entire clip gets torn away more organically. From there, we have a filter, which is an RGB split. And so this split is more of a stylized filter than anything. And so you have some color fringing, some blurring, all kind of directing your attention to the center of the frame while giving you a nice stylized look. From there, we have another transition, which is just a digital distortion transition, and that's the glitch effect. And then after that, we have a plain clip right here. After that, we have an example of what it looks like when you add a 10% pull or a push. And really all that is if you look at a clip originally, like this clip, you'll see that it doesn't really have too much motion to it. It's just this is more of like a tracking slider shot, and it's just moving left to right. But if you add the 10% push or pull, then you can see how that one shot has already changed kind of dramatically with just a simple dropping of that preset. And so you can see it pushes in, right? And so let's get into how you add these transitions and how you add the filters. So we have two different clips right here. We have a simple walking clip, and then we have a simple standing clip. I guess it's just, a sliding clip. And the way that we do this is that the transitions work with 10 frame increments or 10 frame clips. And when you have your two clips, what you want to do is you want to cut 10 frames off the end of each clip, and you're going to apply that effect to those 10 frames. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump in the middle, and then we're going to move 10 frames very easily just by holding down Shift and using our arrow keys. So when you hold down Shift, it jumps in 5 frame increments. So we're going to move twice. So 1, 2. And so that's 10 frames of the first clip. And then we're going to cut that. And then we're going to do that again the same way. But now we're going to go in the opposite direction. So we're going to hold down Shift, 1, 2. And then we're going to cut that. And so now our clips are pretty much ready for us to drop in the effects. So let's say we want to do the action spin. All we have to do is grab the action spin, and it says first because it's going to be on the first clip. We're going to drop that in. And then we're going to get the action spin second because it's going to go on the second clip. We're going to drop that in. And so now you'll see that the effect has taken to the clip, and we have this nice, interesting transition. And you're going to repeat this process on all the transitions. Now, let's go ahead and go over one transition that you can actually adjust, that you can make different. So we're back to where the clips are the same, and the clip that you can kind of make a little bit more dynamic would be the glitch effect. And the reason I say this is because when we drop it in, you're going to see the transition. So it transitions into the next clip. But if you really look at it, the transition is exactly the same for both clips. And we want to change that up. So let's go ahead and go into the first clip, and we're going to change that. We'll just jump into the effect controls. We're going to go to offset, and all we're going to do is we're going to keyframe that offset. And these can all be random values. So it doesn't really matter. It can be whatever you want, just as long as all you're changing is the offset. And so now if you look at the clips, the first clip is actually different from the second clip. Now, you can do this however much you want, or you can leave it the same way. It really doesn't matter. It's really up to you. And the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go over how we add the filters. We have some simple filters. One of the filters is, it would be a good example to actually show you the filters with an effect that's already applied to it, because we have the simple zoom in effect applied here. And so the cool thing is you can kind of stack all these. Now, you don't want to just stack all of them and just hope for some really amazing shots, because that's not really how it works. You kind of have to really use these clips or use these presets sparingly. You don't want to overdo it and just look super cheesy, but you can stack some of these effects. And so we're gonna do that on this clip, because I think this is actually a really interesting clip to use it on. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a RGB split. And so the way we add the RGB split filter is just by stacking 1, 2, 3 clips on top of each other and then applying the presets accordingly. So the first goes on the bottom clip, the second goes on the middle clip, and then the third goes on the top clip. And give it a little bit of time to render, and you'll see that it'll render out, and you'll have a nice color fringing effect on here. And so that's all done with a simple drag and drop process, and then it'll render out, and so you have this really cool like dreamy effect. Now let's say you wanted to add another different type of filter. Really the RGB effect is the only one where you have to duplicate a clip. But let's say you want to add the crappy lens filter. You just drag and drop, and then there you go. You have some vignetting and some blurriness on the edges, making it look like you're using an older vintage lens. And after that, you can work on some like color correction, adding some LUTs to make it look a little bit different. But this gets you closer to that style of effect where the lens isn't that great of quality. And so from there, we only really have one more transition that needs more attention than just a drag and drop. And that is going to be the key away transition. So let's say we bring these two clips back in, and let's see what transition is on there. Let's go and get two shots that are completely different, and then we'll use those two. We'll delete there, so we have the feet and then the Ferris wheel. So we'll go ahead and prep these two shots again. And so that's 1, 2, 10 frames, come back, 1, 2, cut, that's 10 frames. So we want to go back into our effects panel, find our preset, and we're going to be using the key away. And actually, depending on what you want to do with it, normally this effect doesn't really need that second cut, but sometimes I feel like it's easier when you're moving the clip over, it'll snap into place. But normally with this key effect, all you have to do is create those cuts, bring the first clip over the second clip with the cut right above the opening to the second clip. And then all you have to do is you go in here, and then you want to find the key away. You drop it in. Once you drop it in, you'll see that the transition is already working. Now the transition is going to work set to a color that we had already selected. I believe we'd selected a blue, but the way you change that is you would go back into the effect controls, and then you would look for the color key, and then from there, you can see how we had like a darker blue color. Let's go ahead and use the eyedropper tool, and then we're going to go and select a white color. And so you'll see that it'll render out all over again. And so now the effect doesn't work really well with that single color. the effect isn't really that great using a white color. But if you go back, and you can change this however many times you want, use the eyedropper tool, and we're going to select black from her shoe, and then you'll let it render out, and so that works a little bit better. It looks a little bit nicer, and so you can see how that transition works. But this is really the only transition that you have to have hovering over another clip, and to show you what it looks like when they're not. It's just the transition going into black. And I mean, you can still use that stylistically however you want, but to use it the way it was intended, the clip does have to be hovering over the second clip. And so that pretty much wraps it up. Like I said, it was super simple, super basic. If you have any questions on the pack, feel free to email us at info@birgemedia. So use the preset, have some fun with it, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye. Hey guys, it's Josh again. Don't forget to leave us a comment down below letting us know what you thought about the video. Give us a thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you disliked it, and leave us some comments letting us know what information you want in future videos. Do you want to see more product reviews? Do you want more tips and tricks? Do you want some more behind the scenes stuff? We're open to anything right now, so just let us know what you're interested in and we'll see what we can do. We'll talk to you guys later.